Hey guys, so here I've already prepped my skin. I'm just going to go over it again with the Clinique Moisture Surge Spray just to help hydrate. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Clinique Super Primer. It's really light in silicone, so it makes my skin feel really comfortable without feeling oily or greasy, considering I'm already oily to begin with. And also considering my lips are incredibly dry, I'm using the Clarins Lip Oil just to help my lips hydrate a little more while I do my makeup. Today I am using the NARS Tinted Moisturizer in the color Finland. I'm warming it up between my fingertips just to keep the formula nice and warm and melt it onto my skin a lot easier. And as it is known with NARS, they actually make their formulas to be applied with fingertips. Believe it or not, if you try this out, it makes a huge difference. It melts easier on the skin, it blurs out any little imperfections, and it ends up looking absolutely flawless, and it's so effortless. Now after this, of course, you're still free to buff in with a brush or use a beauty blender, which I will be doing in the next step. I still like to go in and press it into the skin a little bit further with a nice wet sponge or beauty blender, just keeping everything nice and texture free. And now for the fun part. So I'm using the primer potion just to go ahead and prime my eyes. Being very gentle not to pull on any skin. I'm setting with a little bit of setting powder right on my eyes to give me a little bit more blending power. And now I'm using the Softglam palette. The first color I'm using is Rustic. I'm going to go ahead and buff that into the crease really softly. So I kind of just want to give myself a little bit of depth. I have a very small eyelid and I have quite a bit of a hood there too. It's not extremely noticeable, but it's enough that it gives me a hard time when doing eyeshadow. So doing this is a little easier than doing a cut crease. Also, it looks a lot softer and it takes a lot less time, especially when you don't feel like doing a cut crease every single day. Now with a smaller crease brush, I'm going to go ahead and use Dusty Rose. I'm gonna start to fade it into the crease, but I'm gonna go a little below the crease and hit more of my eyelid. I'm gonna use this to soften out the rustic brown that's already on the crease and give myself a little bit of a purple undertone. This is gonna help, again, kind of increasing the depth and also helping my shadows on the actual lid that I want to pop a little bit better. I'm all about ease, not doing anything too crazy, especially for everyday use. So after blending those colors, I'm using the color Cypress Umber. I'm going to go ahead and keep adding that to the corner of my eye. This is going to help draw attention away from the center, draw attention away from the hood, and just open my eyes a little bit more, especially with the wing that I'm going to do later on, just to help give my eye a more elongated look and give it a little bit more of a pop. Blending is key, so I'm using Dusty Rose again to blend out any harsh edges. I want everything to look uniform and soft. The edges don't have to be perfect, which is totally fine because my concealer is going to fix those right up. But you want it to be incredibly soft and very well blended. So this next part, I'm using the Benefit Air Patrol Primer. I warmed up a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm going to use a flat concealer brush to apply to the center of my eyelid and then fading it out with my fingertip. This primer is amazing. It is so powerful. It holds on makeup very, very, very well. So perfect for any shimmer you're gonna do, especially if you still want to keep a light feeling on your eyelids and you want no tacky residue afterwards. Now the next color I'm using is Rose Pink. I'm taking an all over shadow brush, and I'm just pressing it onto the outer edges of where I applied that primer. This is going to help stick on very, very well, and I'm very lightly feeding it into the crease area just to help give a little bit of iridescence right there. The next one I'm doing is the color Fairy, which is so far my favorite one in this entire palette. I'm going to apply that from the inner part of my eyelid all the way to the center, fading it into rose pink, again giving it a little bit of iridescence and just giving it a little bit more of a pop. From here on out, you can add more as desired or add more pink depending on what kind of look you're going for. I'm in particular doing something a lot more simple for an everyday wear. So now I'm using the All Nighter concealers, which I am absolutely in love with. I mix the light warm and fair warm colors. It is so pigmented. Do not swipe under the eye. The little dots will work just fine. I'm using a wet beauty blender just to go ahead and blend, and I'm making sure that I keep a straight line on the outer part of my shadow just to give me a clean edge. I'm also setting very lightly under the eye and not baking. Now to actually set my entire face, I'm using the Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil, which again I'm in love with. Very, very lightweight and natural looking, and absolutely no cakiness right after. So the next part, I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in shade 6. I'm very particular about my brows. I have a naturally straighter brow, and my right brow is a lot fuller than my left one, so I sometimes have a little bit of an issue with that. This pencil makes it very easy to create little hair strokes and keep it looking as natural as possible, even when they're super full or a little grown out. I'm not adding any extra shape. I'm really just following along the same shape of my eyebrow that is already there, making sure to darken the tail, but brushing through the beginning to the end and keeping it all nice and uniform. I'm using the Lancome Clear Brow Gel to set down my eyebrows because they are a little longer. The hair tends to stick up and down in a couple of different directions, so this helps keep them neat and combed through. I'm now just brushing off the excess powder underneath my eye, keeping that texture free and smooth. And next, I'm going to use the best liquid liner that there is. This is the Clinique Pretty Easy Liquid Liner. It is a brush tip, so it makes it really easy to draw straight lines. And there is no bleeding. It's all day wear. Believe me, coming from somebody with chronic dry eye, this stuff definitely stays on, stays put, never comes off until the end of the day. I'm using Rustic again with the small smudger brush. This is going to help define my eyes, and I have to use any liner on the bottom part of my eye. I'm also going to bring that shadow up to the wing right underneath just to emphasize the wing and to get it ready for the next part in defining the eye. For this next part, I'm using a small detail brush and I'm using a light concealer. This is the All Nighter Concealer, and I'm just going to go ahead and define my own wing. So add that little line at the bottom without having to use any other liner. This gives it a really clean look, and it definitely plays up any look you're doing at all, even if you're doing a wing alone, which is why we did the extra dark shadow underneath it just to help frame it. Now I'm just using the Saddle Bronzer by Anastasia to help define my cheeks a little bit. I'm skipping contour in this video only because I didn't want to add that much to my face, and I want to keep it looking pretty soft and simple. When you see it in sunlight, which you'll see at the very end, you can see what the light looks like on this type of makeup. Without any contouring, with just soft bronzer on the hairline and defining the high points of the face, you really get to see a beautiful and really natural look, especially when you're outside or hit by natural sunlight. And of course, as we were all waiting for, Amrezy. Now, of course, from here on, you can highlight to your heart's content. Everybody's a little different. I'm keeping mine a little bit more natural and focus more on my cheekbones and right above my brow. I just have to say this highlighter is absolutely wonderful. The shade is beautiful. coming from somebody who's a little bit more on the fair and yellow side, my skin tone tends to eat highlighter like there is no tomorrow, unless it is maybe Pearl by Becca, and I don't feel like wearing white on my cheekbones every day. So this is really beautiful. It's easy to create either a subtle glow or really, really bright if you want to go ahead and just wet your brush. It's a beautiful every single day highlighter, also used for eyeshadow, whatever you want to use it for. This is a beautiful accent and I think everybody needs to try it. Now I'm using a little bit more bronzer to just warm up my face a little bit more and help fade out a little bit of the highlight. I'm also going to go ahead and use the lighter peach color and the darker pink color in the blush kit and add that to my cheeks just to add a little bit of color and dimension and just make me maybe look not as pale as I really am. So I'm just curling my lashes really quick before I forget to do so. This is my favorite curler. It's by Lancome. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of corner highlight using Amrezy, of course, and giving myself a little bit more of a pop. So now that that's all blended in, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit right beneath my brow to help give an illusion of a lifted eye. This looks very beautiful in the sunlight as well. Now introducing the best mascara ever. This is the Clinique High Impact Lash Elevating Mascara. It's one of their newest ones. This freezes your curl on command. So as soon as you curl your lashes, pop a nice little light layer of this. It makes your lashes look super feathery and basically gives them a falsie effect without any clumpiness or spideriness at all. It's wonderful for people who have a little bit more of a rebellious lash and tends to maybe, I don't know, have a hard time keeping their lashes curled, especially when they do mascara right on top of it. Now I'm using Urban Decay's lip liner in MANIC. I'm just going to go ahead and outline my lips. I'm going to overdraw just a tiny bit when I get to the top, just because my lips tend to not be perfectly even. I'm going to go ahead and also fill in my lip with the same color just to give myself a little bit of a pink undertone under my lipstick that I'm going to be applying. Now I'm using STILA's DOLCE color. This is one of my favorite colors in their entire lip line. It is a very soft, caramely color. It looks really, really soft on the lip. It has a little bit of a shimmer, so it tends to pop really nicely, and it gives a very beautiful iridescence with the pink underneath it. And now you guys can't really tell, but it's a little outside of camera. I'm spraying all over myself a mixture of Moisture Surge spray and the Urban Decay All Nighter just to give myself more of a dewy glow and also help with my makeup actually staying on really well. That highlight is absolutely beautiful. As I said before, I'm so in love with it, and don't mind me, I'm listening to Lana in the background. Just ignore that. Now let's show you what this looks like in actual real lighting. Hey guys, so this is my final look. I had to move a little bit because even though I actually have really good lighting in here and I have a million windows, it's really unstable lighting. So I'm just hoping that you can go ahead. So I thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and like and comment down below, and if you have any other suggestions on looks, or if you want to see anything new, if you want to see soft glam, a little different, or if you want to see swatches and reviews, go ahead and just comment below and let me know. Ooh, ooh, look at that sun. Ooh. And that is that my exposure is actually really low right now, so I am glowing. Okay, let's tone that down a notch.